don't use fingerprint recognition as well, because the police will easily access your phone, and then your conversation with the people that doing the demonstration with you, to determine the people that actually, working for you for the demonstration will be revealed, and all your personal data also will be accessed by the police. So you have to prevent that. Use the password, don't use the face recognition or fingerprints. And then you have to seek first which legal assistance that you are targeting to protect you during the demonstration. So you have to have a list of the legal assistance that you can access, and then you already seeking for support if something happened in the demonstration. So they have to be standby, they have to be ready if they are hearing something for you. And then you can also sharing the numbers, the contact person of this legal assistance to all participants of the demonstration. And then this is the most important one, I think, because in my experience during demonstration, there are a lot of communities that actually not practicing this buddy system. That's why a lot of people get arbitrary arrest, because they are going home alone, and then they are going to the demonstration also alone. And when during the demonstration, they are not also with their groups. So for example, like this, if I doing demonstration, I should have one person that is responsible for me, and then that person is also my responsibility to protect them. So in a minimum way, you should have one person that is responsible for you, and then vice versa. So if something happened for you, the other person will know where are you going, are you being kidnapped, or are you already home safely, etc. Before and even after the demonstration, everything should be correspondence with your body. So that's why we say that this is a buddy system. So in demonstration, you can never walk alone, not like a Liverpool football club. So you have to have a friend during demonstration that's responsible for you, and then you're responsible to them. So you know whether they're already home safe and sound, and then before the demonstration, you're also going together, etc. Yeah, so to reduce the risk to an acceptable level, you have to measure the SWOT that I already mentioned earlier. And then you have to enhance the self-protection capability in doing like trainings like this, or you seek some thoughts or knowledge about the national laws regarding the criminal criminal procedure codes, and then also the criminal code, and then to prevent those kind of like criminal code being put to you by the police, so you can have your own argument regarding the legal systems in Indonesia, for example. So you have to seek also help from the legal assistance, not only to defend you, but also to seek what kind of arguments or like defense system that I should have when I am being arrested by the police. So you have to have that. And then the second one, this is to reduce the weaknesses factor. For example, if some of the people in the group are actually vulnerable, or they are people with the disability, or even more vulnerable from you, so you have to work as a herd immunity. You have to protect the more vulnerable groups in the demonstration groups, so they will be safe, more safer from the threats. And then how to defend yourself. First, as I already mentioned about the buddy system, you have to determine who is your buddy system. And then you have to determine the emergency contacts, for example, your closest friends, your family, or the legal assistants, or other people that you think relevant for the emergency contacts if something happened for you, something happened with you. And then you have to keep in mind the contact number of your legal assistants, because usually the police will seize your cellular phone. So you have to keep that in mind about the number of your legal assistants. And then the second one, protect your communication platform. You have to trace which sensitive information that you have in your phone before demonstration, and then you have to erase that, or any kind of like confidential information, you have to erase those kind of things so the police cannot access anything from your phone. And then protect it with not using the face recognition and then the fingerprints, and use a very complicated password. And make an attendance list before the demonstration, so you can determine whether the demonstration group, when we are finishing the demonstration, we are complete or some people are missing. So before the demonstration, you have to list all the people with their contacts, and then their origins. So when you are finishing the demonstration, you know whether you are already completed and then everyone is safe, or anyone is actually missing. And if you are being hacked, to prevent you are being hacked, use a strong password and different password for each account, for your emails, for your social media, for your chat application, etc. So you have to use strong password and different one from each account that you have. And during demonstration, I strongly suggest you to use VPN, because if you're not using VPN, the police will easily target you with your IP address, and then you can and then they can locate you very easily, and then they can arrest you very quick. So you have to use VPN for your communication during the demonstration. And then use a safe and closed chat app, for example, Signal app, Telegram, and don't use WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is very easy for the police to access, and then it's very easy to hack. And then a lot of cases already happen when the police or other people that actually can hack WhatsApp very easily. Sorry, this is in Bahasa, but this is what should you do during if you are targeted to be criminalized. First, you have to ask the warrant letter to the police. If they don't have it, then it is illegal. So you have to, ask for the warrant when they are trying to, arrest you. And then second, they have to ask for a permission from your home or other or your residence to ask for searching your house. And then if they are still trying to do so, to breach into your home, to do a raid, and then not asking to your like community leader, like RT RW or a village chief in your neighborhood, then this is also illegal. So you have to ask for a searching letter and then warrant letter. And then the police officers should also doing or giving you like a receipt if your property, or if your phone or other or any goods that you are actually holding are being seized by them. So you have to ask for a receipt, so when you are getting that back, what kind of properties or anything that being seized by the police, and that's you have to make sure that that is yours, not the others, because usually they are fabricated it. And this is some state auxiliary bodies in Indonesia that you can go to if you are facing some threats or facing violence or others human rights violations. If it's happening from you or your friends in a group to be doing a complaint to Komnas HAM, Komnas Perempuan. Komnas HAM is National Human Rights Commission. Komnas Perempuan is National Anti Violence Against Women, and then Ombudsman, and then Victims and Witness Protection Agency. So they can provide you some protection, and then also they can hear your complaints, and then they can give recommendation to the Indonesian government. And three things that should be remembered when you are documenting, and documentation is very important during the demonstration. So if police doing some violence, you have to make sure to do chronology with 5W and 1H: when, where, why, how, and then the others, and then it should be evidence based. So make sure that you can document it with photos, videos, or any others key persons that witnesses that can actually see the violence that being done by the police or other apparatus. So the chronology is very important. The evidence like video or voice memos or witnesses or photos is actually very important. So not only doing demonstration, but you also have to determine team that actually can do documentation, and then remind the perpetrator name, his position or their position, and then where they come from, what office that they are came from, and then the physical character of him. So you have to remind those kind of things during the demonstration if the violence happen. Okay, that is all for my presentation. So I hope that is clear enough, and maybe we can continue in the the Q&A session. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Fatia, for the great explanation and clarification about everything. Your presentation was very effective, actually, and I'm sure most of the participants, they have got some information about how to demonstrate peacefully and in a safe way. In the same time, I would like to remind all the participants, please, if you have any kind of question to Ibu Fatia, she is glad to answer you, actually, but please address it in the chat box so we can read the question to Ibu Fatia and get the sufficient answer from her. Okay, I would like to go ahead with the first question, Ibu Fatia. The question comes from Al-Khadr. The question said that a refugee woman went to UNHCR office to drop her complaint in the UNHCR complaint box. So to clarify for you, there is a box in UNHCR that refugees and asylum seekers are dropping their requirements right there. Continuing to the question, it coincided with the demonstration conducted by refugees that day. When she went back home, she received a call from the UNHCR office informing her that they saw her in the camera and that the UNHCR will discontinue her MSA, which is the monthly support from CRS, Catholic Relief Service, as she was one of the protesters. This woman did not participate, and she was afraid that the UNHCR will discontinue her financial assistance. Is that a legal action from UNHCR? I know you are not a UNHCR officer, but would like to hear your perspective regarding this. Is that legal action from UNHCR in case it's happened? And if it's happened, how can SUWACA help? Thank you.
Okay, maybe I will try to answer the first part, and after that, SUWACA can also answer the question, the last question. So first thing that I know, as far as I doing a lot of advocacy and then some international advocacy on the international mechanism in the UN, I believe that the UNHCR cannot actually threatening people or their beneficiary, which is in this aspect is the actually threatening if they are doing some protest or doing demonstration, then the UNHCR. So I don't think that there is a very wise way from the UNHCR to actually doing that to the refugees, because the refugee is their beneficiary, and they should know that demonstration is one of the tool for doing a lot of aspiration. So whether you already participate in the demonstration or not, they should not doing that, because your rights is protected by the international mechanism in the international human rights standards, and they should know better about this. And as far as you are not doing any kind of violence or any kind of destructive manners in the demonstration, so I don't think that they can try to threat you with those kind of verbally threats or violence by the police. So there is no basis or legal basis that actually threats can be happening for the people that participate in demonstration peacefully. So I don't think that UNHCR can do that, in my opinion and in my personal perspective, that usually doing a lot of advocacy to the UNHCR as well.
Thank you, Fatah. Thank you so much. Just to recap what you answer, that UNHCR cannot threat their beneficiaries if they do any protests, and the refugees and asylum seekers, if they would like to protest, their right is protected as a protesters from the international. Thank you for answering the question. I also would like to address this question to any case officer from Suwaka, because the second part of the question says that what Suwaka can do actually if this kind of things happen to a refugee, and especially if the refugee or asylum seeker are very in need of this monthly support, the MSA, and it's already cut it. So you can imagine in which kind of life that this refugee or asylum seeker is going to be. Uh, Anyone from Suwaka, please, maybe?
Hi, Nashat. I think I can add a little bit for that.
Yes, please. Go ahead, Brother Jolie.
Okay, thank you. I agree with what Fatia had mentioned. The first thing that we will require from SWACA is that we will ask you about the documentation. I think it is also in line with the presentation that was provided by Fatia. So let's say the UNHCR is accusing these women for participating in demonstration. It is already a mistake because demonstration is guaranteed under Indonesian law and also international human rights law, in which have been ratified by Indonesia. So in this case, if the hypothetical case happened to that woman, then it will be a violation of her rights. Therefore, if SWACA has this legal aid division that can help you with that. But first of all, we will need the documentation. So you will have to give proof that you were not in, let's say if you were to conduct demonstration, you were conducting it peacefully. And if you were not involved in the demonstration, then you can also prove that to SWACA as well. And then we'll take your case and then we'll advocate with UNHCR. Basically, what we're saying is that if they discriminate someone or they take off the support from this woman just because she was participating in a demonstration, then it was a violation of rights, and SWACA will advocate for that. So that is for the addition from SWACA, Nashat. Thank you.
Thank you, Jolio. Thank you so much for answering. Actually, yes, it's a very clear answer. And just to sum up what you said, Jolio, that it's a violation. You agree with Ibu Fatia, violation of the rights for the refugees, and of course, SWACA action. SWACA need and approve if the POC involved or not in the protests, so they can take an action for the next step, which is being with the POC and fighting for her right, of course. Also, thank you guys for answering the question, the first question. I will go ahead with the second question. from DK. A little bit long question, but I hope we can answer it by part. DK said that I fully support the refugees and asylum seekers in Indonesia exercising their freedom of expression by doing a peaceful demonstration. But for a couple of years, what I witnessed is the demonstration always took place in front of the detention center or Menara Rabandu, where is UNHCR office. Meanwhile, the protests mostly about resettlement in Indonesia. The resettlement process is the hand of the third country such as USA, New Zealand, Australia, or Canada. So shall the movement shift in front of the embassy? This is a question mark. But then if the officer, whether it's UNHCR or embassy, acknowledge one of the beneficiaries joined the demonstration, their case again would be affected badly. So what is your opinion on this matter? Thank you in advance. Maybe I
Okay.
can go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I think this is also a reflection from my experience. So I think that a lot of demonstration is should not only targeted to one uh, authorities or one bodies. Like for example in Indonesia, when we are doing a lot of demonstration, we are not only targeted one ministries or one bodies like House of Representative or DPR, and this presidential palace, but we also doing demonstration in police office headquarters, and then etc. So I think if you think that is effective, and you have to discuss that first with your groups whether that should be effective for the refugees community in Indonesia to do a demonstration in front of the embassy, whether they can hurt your aspiration there. So I think it could be one of the way to do some alternatives to straightly expressing your aspiration in front of the embassy for the refugee situation. If you think that the demonstration in front of the UNHCR office is not really effective, so I think that can be an alternative. And perhaps you can also do another state authorities for it to be targeted, not only with demonstration, but with open letter or any kind of more soft ways to actually make them hearing your voices. So not only demonstration, but any kind of protest in the digital arena, or even open letters or any campaign, it's also can be applied for you, and not only targeted one authorities, but other relevant authorities as well. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Fatia, so much. Yeah, related to the question, how if the embassy or UNHCR will do the same way, which is affecting badly on the refugees? I mean, as the first question that we have been asked right here, they would see in the camera the refugee or recognize them by their information, by providing information, then it will affect them badly. So what is your opinion regarding this? How they can prevent themselves from being affected badly? Is my question clear, Fatia?
Yeah. So if they can be badly, so you can actually measure. So first you have to do the plannings first, like I mentioned in my presentation. So before you doing another demonstration, you have to create the plan for like the body system, and then your determine your threats, determine your weaknesses, etc. So if something bad happened for you, you already know what to do. Like for example, to determine which legal assistance that can actually accompany you during demonstration, or other relevant civil society organization that can also become the mediator for your communication with the state authorities or other authorities that you are targeted. So I think that's very important on that.
Yes, thank you, Fatia. It was very sufficient answer. And just to recap what you said, regarding this question. If you think it's an effective way, then do it. It could help. It could be one way for the current situation that you are suffering from. There might be some people that might hear your voice positively, of course, and use more soft ways actually to protest. There are many soft ways to protest in order to be your voice going to be heard from authorized. And also regarding being affected badly, search about mediator. There are many kind of organizations can be a mediator in this kind of protests in order to protect you from being affected badly. I mean, your cases. All right. Thank you, Fatia. It was very great answers actually, and I appreciate it. I would like to go ahead for the next question, which is from me actually. The question said that how to make sure of broadcasting the demands throughout the news channels. Um, Lately, we have heard from some protesters that they are protesting in front of UNSCR office, that there are some channels came right there and they used to talk with that channels, but they are not really sure about that channels going to deliver their voices or not. So what is the main effective way to deliver or to highlight your demands among, I mean, the country in Indonesia?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they are demanding that their voices going to be reached to the high authority of Indonesia in order to request UNSCR to find a
Yeah.
solution to them. This is the idea. What's your
So I think I forgot to mention one thing, that when you are trying to express or delivering your aspirations and then about your concerns, whether from demonstration or you want to broadcasting about the situation that happening for you, you have to also determine partners in doing those kind of campaigns or advocacy. So you cannot actually working alone, because there will not enough people knowing about the situation or the issues. I reflect this from the situation in Indonesia, that refugee issue is not really common, for the Indonesian people. So you have to, gather more with or seeking some more support or partnering with the civil society organizations in Indonesia that dealing with the refugees issues. I believe that in Indonesia there are a lot of organizations that actually can, supporting your aspirations and the situation of refugees in Indonesia, like SWAKA, and then JRS, like Contrast, and then Indonesian Legal Aid Institute, that can actually partnering with you to become a mediator, to expressing or doing some others advocacy to the state authorities in Indonesia or even to the UNHCR, so they can also speak about your situation. So they have also like their own platforms in the national level that can be utilized to spreading to the public about the refugee crisis that happening right now. So I think that is very effective for you if you can also partnering with those NGOs or other civil society organizations, so they can amplify your aspirations and then create some consultation with the state authorities as well.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Fatia. It's actually very good answer. You know, especially in this kind of time, the demonstrators, they are in need of this kind of information to be understand. So the organizations that can help the refugees in order to broadcast more about the refugees and their demonstrations, and probably they can get their target or their demands. I mean, the protests, which is Indonesian Legal Aid Attitude and SWAKA and GRS and other organizations are ready to help for being a mediator, as you said. So it's very clear for the refugees and asylum seekers right now to protect themselves and not being alone, as you said. I think, yeah, of course, we do believe being alone, it's going to increase the percentage of weakness in order to defend your right. So you have to have at least one or more than one organization stand away with you actually to defend your right. Yeah, thank you. As you are thinking as well, it's a very effective way to join those kind of or to reach this kind of organizations in order to protect your right. Um, in this part, I also would like to ask one more question, which is, you know, sometimes, well, our subject today, which is conducting a safe demonstration, and the demonstration, if it's going to be safe, of course, it's going to be from the main people who are going to demonstrate, who are going to protest, isn't it? The question is sometimes people misunderstand that if they break the principles, then they will get the opportunity to attract the authority to say their demands. I think is that this is the main option that lead the peoples or the demonstrators to start to harm the principles. How do you respond about this, Fatia?
Yeah, so I think you have to also like analyzing or you doing some research regarding that. That is very important because some people is not really actually in favor with the refugees issues, and then I think that is also can become one of our opportunity as well to actually refreshing about the refugees issues, like for example partnering with the CSOs as I already mentioned, because you know the stigma and then how the people actually like very pro with the government, and then not really believe in any kind of foreign situation, and really focusing on the domestic situation. So we have to do a lot of campaign as an advocacy as well to actually widening and then amplifying the situation of the refugees. So not only doing advocacy, but we have to do also a campaign. And I see here in the chat box that how to work with organization to partner. So for example, I think as you already working closely with Swaka already have a lot of networks of civil society organization that you can determine to work together if you want to do some advocacy or you want to do policy advocacy as well, because that is also very important, because if you only doing case by case, the government will not doing anything. But we have to do from the root cause of it is that about the regulation related to the refugee situation. So we can work together with the NGOs or civil society organization, not only to working on the case, but also to sharing and then discussing about the policy advocacy as well, because that is very important. If the regulation is not changing, then the situation will not changing as well. So I think you have to determine first which organization that you think is very strategic to be partnering, and then trying to do some planning of like strategic planning for the advocacy, not only in the case by case situation, but also from the root causes of the situation.
Great, great, Fatah. Thank you so much. Thank you. So yeah, reaching Suwaka, as this is, I mean, one of the organizations that's work very close to the refugees and asylum seekers in Indonesia, and I'm sure if not all the refugees, the most number of the refugees that they are here if, about Suwaka. If they are not here about Suwaka, so of course they definitely hear about GRS. And yeah, as today we have you as a speaker from Contrast, of course, this is going to be one way for the refugees to contact you at least, or to reach you through Suwaka or GRS or other organizations. All of these organizations going to be stand together with the refugees and asylum seekers community to help them legally, especially in the how to conduct a safe demonstration. All right. Yeah, the last question, it was answered actually from Fatia. And if we, I think we are done with the questions and answer. Uh, all right. I just would like to remind the participants that um, this webinar going to be finished at 4 o'clock. That's why I kindly would like to ask all the participants, because if we reach to the end, before the statement, closing statement from the speaker, I would like to say to the participants, please let's take a group pictures. I kindly ask you to on your camera so we can take a group pictures right here in this webinar. Okay, I think
yeah.
Brother Zico, go ahead.
Okay, I will count. Smile, look at the camera. I want to, one more. Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
All right, Brother Zico. Thank you. Thank you for the photo. Fatia, you know, we are so glad to have you right here in this webinar. Now, there were a lot of information that have been says right here in this webinar, which is lead to the benefits of the refugees and asylum seekers in Indonesia.